asked, and so we made it happen. I am so glad to be joined by my mom. I am Dr. Barry. I'm a licensed psychologist. And here I normally talk about psychology and true crime. But when me and mama get together, we talk about everything. So we'll answer your questions. Make sure to let us know. Put QQQ or question marks, 3 question marks. That helps flag your question. And mama, if you can introduce yourself.
I am Johnnie Lloyd, and I am known as the Mindset Maven that helps you bridge the gap between what you know and what you do. I'm doing identity first. I have books and 3 times international best-selling author. But the wonderful, fun thing that I love is, especially with the Kouri Richard, is my baby. And so y'all see me in the chat, call her Dr. Baby. It's not because I'm confused. It's because that's my baby. And the picture and all of that stuff. But I'm excited to be here and looking forward to it. The Kouri Richards case is just fascinating to me because of the forensic accountant, because I have 47 years of accounting and financial background. So that has been powerful for me.
And this time I'd like to talk about it from the perspective of Kouri as a mom. And I think in our society, so Mother's Day is celebrated way more than Father's Day. So I went to the grocery store this morning and they're just flowers, balloons, chocolate strawberries, cookies, like everything is just screaming, and everybody's grabbing them. Everybody's getting ready for Mother's Day. People do stuff for Father's Day, but it's often not like Mother's Day is one of the top grossing holidays in the United States. I know in other countries, sometimes they celebrate Mother's Day on a different weekend, but let's talk about Kouri as a mom.
Breathe. That's what I would say. Okay, so let's talk about her let's talk about mothers, and then talk about a little bit about her as a mom. So when I look at what I perceive and what I know as mother, I mean, you brought this child into the earth, and then you look in, you want the best for them, all of those things. So when I look at her, and supposedly from the outside in, she had it all. She had a husband that had a great job. They were rich. They were considered rich, living large and in charge. However, this is what I'll tell you. No matter what outside is happening, internally, she had some issues. This is what I tell people. I said she had issues in her tissue that could not be resolved by where and what she was. So her background, when you do research on her background, instead of her changing the trajectory of generational issues that she had been faced with as a mother, and that she had to live through and grow out of, and I see your eyes lighting up. So instead of dealing with that, she put more trauma on her children to move forward instead of lessening their trauma. So, and I'm going to talk, okay, we'll talk about it, but go ahead, Patrice. I see your face light.
And I like how you, instead of starting with talking about Kouri as a mom, you started with Kouri's mom. And I remember watching the interrogation video where her daughter's husband has just been found deceased, and she, there's no emotion. She's not comforting her daughter. She's telling the grandkids to go back to bed, to just go back to bed. There wasn't a nurturing. There wasn't this positive. And that's where, now there are men that can be very nurturing. There are women that can be very nurturing. There are some women that aren't as nurturing. There are men that aren't. And so we don't want to make assumptions. But the one thing I try to explain to people that want children is that is you can't be selfish. So just now, my child knows there's nothing more important than him. And after this stream, I'm going to help him because I've had a ceiling fan in his closet probably for the last like 7 years. I don't know. Like the ceiling fan is almost, I have an 8-year-old. The ceiling fan is almost as old as he is, and it's been sitting in the box. And today we are going to put it together. We're gonna put it up today. But he came in to be like, "Are you done?" Because he knew I was doing a video, and he was like, "No." And so that was me like trying to signal off camera to your grandson. But being a parent, it for either gender is one of the most, because children need, they take, and it is up to the people that bring them into the world to give that to them. And so those are some of my thoughts.
Yeah, the other thing is, going back to her mother, is that, okay, so first of all, I'm gonna say this. There is no excuse that I can give anyone because your history does not demand your destiny align with that. So no matter what you've been through in your life, I want to make this plain, that when you take on the responsibility to be a parent, when you take on the responsibility for yourself, there's some things that you just don't want to continue to push forward until the next generation. And what she did, how she showed up, was selfish. It was self-serving. That's what selfish is. It's self-serving. When you think about her husband, and everything, not only to me, he appeared to be the nurturer.
Yes.
Based on him having family trips and all of those things, he was the nurturer. So not only are they now looking at the mother who killed, as their father, but he was the nurturer. So now they're missing all of that. And for little boys, can I just be honest with you? Little boys need a father or father figure in their lives. Because I can teach my son a lot of things, and I don't have a son. I can teach him a lot of things, but I can't teach him how to be a man. I can help him in so many other areas, but having other father figures in their lives is really powerful. And when you look at the relationship that they could have, and I'm hoping they get some help, they could have with a woman, they'd be like, this is what happened to my father when he was in love with my mom. So what does that do to their relationships going out? There's so much depth to that.
And the positive thing, because I do believe the children are with their aunt and uncle, with the father's sister and brother-in-law. And so when it comes to decisions people make, so you did a really good video recently about not passing on patterns, that the patterns the parents have can become the patterns the children have. And I am the same way, where I say we are responsible for our own behavior. So, but as a parent, I want to make sure to not pass certain things on. So I've been very honest with the stream that so for the past few years, I've known that there was a psychological evaluation coming in my son's future. Not because we were doing anything wrong, but it's just psychological evaluations give you a snapshot of how your child is functioning. And it would give us tips as parents for how to best support our child. And so our kiddo just recently had one this past Thursday. And so we're going to follow up and do all of those things. But I know I struggle with organization. Right now, my office is when my life gets complicated, and my mom knows this because she's lived with me, my closet becomes a war zone. And I have certain rooms that just end up a little bit of everywhere. And I wanted to make sure to get our child help and support if he is showing similar signs that I might have had early on. Because they're growing up, there were times that I felt, and you might have thought I was lazy. I just won't keep my room clean. You're this, you're that. And I do think my brain works a little bit different. And there are different things that motivate me. And just like with my son, there are things that motivate him. And as a parent, I think it's important to put your child first. I'll let you share, and then the next thing we'll talk about is how do people heal when they didn't get that? I know. Or we can jump straight there.
No. That's perfect. Okay, so there's a couple things I'd like to share. One is I love the way that Patrice just addressed that. And this is what parents have. Listen, and this is the one thing I'll say is that getting someone that you love help, even getting yourself help, is not a mandate to say something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
That is not something that you look at and you judge yourself. Yeah. And don't allow other people to judge you because of that. It's when you know something is out of balance, alignment. It's like your car. When your car's out of alignment, it takes more work to keep it straight. But when your car is in alignment, don't do this, y'all. You can basically drive with your hands up, and your car is going to stay on the road. But don't do that.
That tells you need to take your car in for an alignment.
Yeah, I mean, when you do that, right? And I do it, right?
Well, so, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't listen.
The other thing I love about it is there are things that I did. Okay, so let's back up. Most mothers do the best they know how to do.
Oh, I think, yeah. But most,
there's some people out. That's why I said most.
Do the bare minimum. Bare minimum.
Yeah, we got a list of people that didn't. But even let me use Kouri. Kouri's a good example, actually, and I'm gonna use it from this perspective. What happens when you think you're doing the wrong things, but it's for the wrong reason?
Or the right? You mean that? You mean it that way?
You think you're doing the right thing, but it's for the wrong reason. She thought her having all this, whatever she was looking for, filling her void was at some point going to help, whatever. But this is the problem. When everything has provided so much pressure on the situation that all you want to do is win at any cost, the cost becomes higher and higher. So her children ended up being part of the cost.
Yeah.
And the sad thing about it is, even with others, sometimes you want the benefits of having the freedom. You don't want the accountability of what you're doing or how things turned out. Because if you ask her today, she still thinks, what she did was right. And that's the issue. So going back to Patrice, this is what I'll say is that when I was a mother, I did the best I knew how to do. But now Patrice gets a chance. Listen, grandparents. Listen, grandparents. Your children get a chance to do the best they know how to do for their children. It doesn't mean that she has to do it my way. And I'm going to give you, she probably has a great example. The spanking is a great example. Because I said, I'll never put my hands on Patricia. I'll never. Then something happened and something triggered and the pattern showed up. So if you haven't seen the video, check it out. The pattern showed up. So I responded based on the pattern because what I thought was going to work didn't. Then Patrice let me know later on that don't work either, not for her. So every child is different. And as a parent, we have to giving the person that we say we love what they need is a deeper level of love. When I give you what I want you to have, it's not the same thing. So Patrice, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, because we like to be honest here. And so what was the decision I made as a parent that you maybe didn't agree with, but you held back and didn't say anything? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The 18 months, where you want to start? No. No.
So me thinking you would be my child care for the first 4
Yeah,
months?
that okay, but not well. Yeah, that too. But even let's talk about
So with that decision, so I was really nervous to have our child with anybody other than you.
no. You know what? To be honest with you, that saved me as well as helped you. That's caused me
Oh, yeah.
to live longer and to refocus my life. So sometimes things happen to you to cause you to be a better person, right? So one of the things, going back to truth, one of the things, because I've always let you have a voice. So you letting Langston have a voice is spot on for me. I mean, I think that's amazing, right? So, if it was to me and I said, okay, there's one thing I want him to go in. Okay, this is me, y'all. This is
Mhm.
me. I want him to go into church. I want him to go into the building.
Yeah.
I want him to build a relationship with other like-minded people and go into the physical building and learn and build a relationship here with him and God. And the reason, this is my personal, this because we're being honest.
Yeah.
So my thing is that the reason I did it is not the reason that she would do it. So the reason I did it is if something happened to me, I want her to know that there's always someone she could go to that if I'm not there. Right? This season is different and
And
her situation is different.
and the reason why I asked is because to show the stream that there are some conversations, there's some things as a grandparent that you keep to yourself.
Amen.
And not, but like,
Yeah.
so some of the things I was thinking about, so our decision, I don't think we let him try real food until 6 months. And I've shared before because my baby was hungry. My baby at 4
He
months,
was starving, y'all. And
4
he
months,
left him with me hungry.
he wanted
He
he
wanted
wanted
real
food.
food.
He wanted he wanted real food. I remember his very first Thanksgiving because he was born in August, so November, maybe it was Christmas because I think
It was
Auntie
Christmas.
came
It was Christmas.
for Christmas. It was his very first Christmas, and he hadn't hit that 6 months yet, and we were big on nope, we're not doing that. And I am thankful that you keep certain things to yourself. So my child is a very picky eater. And I've worked with clients that have said, my parent blames me for why my child is a picky or my parent, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm very thankful and grateful that there are things that you did not share because it can come across as criticism.
It does normally come across as criticism because what you're looking at because of tone, the way we say it, right? And the way the other person is taking it, because most new parents are already thinking, in some cases, am I adequate? Right? Shutting her mouth isn't easy. Amen. In Jesus' name. Anyway, but this is the reason that I have such a good relationship with not just Patrice, but with my son in love. The reason is this was my thing. I said, it's he's not my child. And I want to respect, listen to me, y'all. I
Mm.
want to respect and honor what they said. Now, when it infringed on my freedom,
So our decision to do organic.
all organic.
All organic fruit. So when he did try food and everything, it was organic. We would provide the, and I gave enough where like it wasn't like
Oh yeah, she
mama,
fed me.
like
She
yeah,
fed
yeah,
me.
I would
Yeah,
yeah,
we switched
everybody
over
would
to
have.
organic
It
because
was
that's the other thing
yeah.
is that it was like I said, or y'all know I have issues if y'all don't face me. I said organic. So this is what I told her. I said, I don't eat organic. You want him to have organic? You need to handle it. She said, oh no, no, no. And that's how she is. That's how
Okay.
they are.
And
She's
let
like,
me
"You
and let
not
me
bringing it."
clarify. So y'all, I was paying my poor mama $300 a month
Woo! You
for
know that wasn't payment, y'all. I had come
for
look, I was making
for
$200 an
40
hour.
for
She gave me
40 to 50 hours of childcare a week. 40, it was at least 40 hours. It was at least 40
it
hours.
was 5 days a week.
5
While
days
he
a
was
week
at work.
from like 8 a.m. to 6.
But let me tell you, and this is a great example. Um, I wouldn't take that time back for anything.
I know.
I wouldn't trade that time.
Was it 300? Maybe it was 500. Was it 500? Or was
No,
it
don't
3?
go far. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're on public.
I want to know how I paid off my student loans. I robbed my mom.
But that goes back to being a mother, right? Because
I didn't rob you for real. Your grandson's listening. You Gigi.
He's a Gigi. But this is what I have images. I have pictures. I have videos. I have all of this stuff that I would have never had. But remember earlier I said, had it not been for him, I would not be, and I didn't say it like this, but I want y'all to understand it, is that I was coming out of corporate America in this, this fast-paced, off-the-chain kind of person, and I am that kind of person. If I had came into retirement without this brick wall, Langston, running into Langston in the situation, I probably would not have been alive.
Mm.
And I'm gonna say it like that. And when I say alive, I'm not talking about dead body. I'm saying I wouldn't have the kind of life. I wouldn't be all living, all breathing, all encompassing. So that's what I would say.
And I want to break that down because it made you be more mindful. So you lived a very do kind of life, and taking care of an infant, you just get to sit and hold him, and you're trying to do work, and he needs his own keyboard.
He's like,
play with me. No.
And everything was entertaining to him. And then this is the other thing. When things are happening in your life, some things are happening to you to expose you, to enlarge your territory, to enlarge who you could be. And then some things are exposure, which is uncovering. Kouri Richards, uncovering, because she had a lot of opportunities where she was uncovered. And if she had just stopped and said, something different, it could have had a different resolve. But she didn't. Okay. So for me, the covering, me finding out you're on Mach 5, and that's the way my whole life had always been. And then suddenly I have this little person, and they trusted me so much, y'all. Just, I know y'all heard me say it before. She had me send, there was proof of life.
I did.
I had to send proof of, don't believe it.
Whenever she had 30 minutes to text back a picture or a video in 30 minutes.
Video to both of them. So whatever she had told her husband caused him to want a proof of life too.
He did. He was probably still working for the government.
He probably didn't even care. But this is the deal. Again, honoring Mother's Day is not just for the right of because you have a womb and you can deliver a child. The responsibility never ends. And this is what I tell people. I said, once you are a mother, you are always a mother. You're always a mother. And it doesn't mean that my life revolves around Patrice, because she'll tell you in a minute. I said, I'm not.
I feel like it should though, but it's okay.
She still thinks it should, y'all, but it'd be like, I'm leaving town for whatever. I'm going to this country, whatever. But it's not because I don't love her. And so love is deeper than that. Love is deeper than the financial piece. The love is, what are you passing down from generation to generation? So just because, go ahead, you have your face on the line.
No, I want you to finish that thought. They don't like it when I cut you off. Finish.
Oh, okay. Thank y'all. Love is deeper than that. Love is when you show up in private, not public. Love is the picture that she put out, and y'all tried to figure out, why would your mother let you hold an animal? An animal that could hurt you. Why would your mother do that? So, and I wanted to pop that in. Anyway, go ahead.
So, there we go. So we'll take a little side quest into this very real picture And we were in Japan, correct? Was this in Japan? Okay.
Japan.
And for the people, because there were lots of questions. So this is my mom. This was me. I think I was probably 4 years old or so, maybe 4. And this is a very real. Is it like a
It's a lion.
lion? That's a very real lion. So where were we? What's the story behind this picture?
Okay, so the story behind. Okay, so first of all, y'all know Patrice loves her. She's beaming. Yeah, she does. She loves her mother. And I love her. Y'all see my face like, oh, Jesus, what has she got me into now? Anyway,
Yeah,
but this is
the
the
lion
deal.
seems to be more on me. It seems like you're pushing the lion over to me.
I was, but let me tell you, like, you take it. You wanted it. Okay, so let's talk about children. So we talk about Patrice was one of those children that she liked exposure to things. I wanted her to be exposed to things. So when she said, "Mommy, can I, I loved the fact that she was bold enough to say, because there was a group of kids, and because I tried to go to her events and stuff like that. Anyway, so the bunch of kids and people saying, and so she looked up and she said, "I want to hold it." And because he asked, "Does anybody want to hold it?" All the kids, no. So Dr. Berry, "I want to hold it." And I said, "Oh, snap, crackle, and pop." And I said, "Okay." She said, and so she looks at me and she said, and so the guy looks at me, he said, "Can she hold it?" I said, "Yeah." Okay, now my face is telling you how I felt about it.
And was this at a zoo or something?
It was like a animal
Sanctuary thing or something.
sanctuary kind of thing. But they were real, and the mother of this thing was out there, right? So anyway, so I'm thinking, look what she got. I wasn't, but this is what we have to. Let me give you a really good example, because one of your questions was, what do you do? So me and Patrice has this thing. You want to do it? That I'm gonna support you in what you want to do. I'm not going to girl, you can't, because some parents, let's talk about it. Some people, you ain't gonna hold that thing. You know you scared. Don't drive fear. She wasn't scared of it. Look at her little face with all her little snagging tooth. She's like, hey. And I'm like, help me. But look at my concern, even though she's holding it, because she wanted to hold it by herself. But I'm positioned that, number one, if anything's gonna happen, I'm taking that thing down. I'm taking it down. Because that's the way I work. My brain says the most important person on here right now is Patrice. So if anything comes down, she gonna be safe. This animal is not gonna be breathing. But let's talk. So that's the way you have to look at life when it comes to your children, is to give them the space to be them and to evolve and grow. So Patrice was never afraid of anything. She was like, I mean, we came in and they were unpacking all this wonderfulness, and Patrice had never ridden her bike without training wheels. So me, limiting mother, I said, they're looking for it. She said, "I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bike." And I said, "They're looking for it, sweetie. They're gonna get it."
Ride it. I don't need them.
She jumped on the bike and rode like she'd been riding all her life. And then she waited. She gets on the bike and she gone, because I'm trying to orchestrate stuff. She said, "See, I can do anything." And I said, my eyes this big, and I said, "Yes, you can." Patrice, before we leave Okinawa, Japan, she decides she can swim.
So no. So I decided to take a floaty underwater, but floaties don't go underwater. So I went underwater and came up without a floaty in a 10-foot pool with no adults that knew how to swim, and I was swimming. Thank goodness.
Okay, so this is the deal. Let me tell you who teaches our children fear.
We do.
We do. There's only a couple things when a child is born that they're afraid of. And Dr. Berry knows that. And there's some things that they're literally loud sounds, I think it is, baby, and falling or something like that. I don't know. She's the one with the side E. Anyway, I pretend.
So they've done experiments where there's like, it looks like the baby's gonna fall, but the mother's on the other side, And if the mother is like reassuring, like, come, most babies will cross the scary looking thing to come to the mother. If the mother's like scared, and so that's why like when children fall, you want to be neutral. But my son, if he sees an injury, that's when he knows it hurts. Before he sees it, it normally doesn't hurt. We go to Disney every so often, and there's a water park. If you ever go to Typhoon Lagoon, the wave pool, it's the bottom of it, you will scratch your legs and so he ended up needing some band-aids. They have free band-aids available. It's like it's like at the first aid station. But he did not realize he had all those scratches until he looked down, and then that's when it started to hurt. And we were just like, let's breathe, let's get to where we need to go. And so now there are some people that are wired to be a little bit more anxious. There are some kids, some situations where even if the parent is very calm, the child just due to their wiring. But in most situations, children often learn fears. And so that's where there's a book called Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents, because when I'm working with an anxious child, there's always at least one anxious adult, because the anxious adult is often trying to pacify the anxiety, where if the child comes to them scared, it's like, so what do you need me to do to help you be okay? Versus what can I teach you to do so that you can be okay. And so changing patterns, expecting uncertainty, expecting that things aren't always going to be the same way, doing things like that. And there are normal fears that kiddos have. So fear, but as kids get older, survival, because it's good for kids to not want to run into roads, to not want to, I don't know, like there's some fears that can be helpful. And then we just kind of work with those things. But yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple things that had impact for the children as it relates to this case specifically.
Okay.
First of all, they had the death of their father. Okay, then they had the loss of their mother. She's in prison, right? So then you have the public trauma. Because I went out to YouTube because I was looking for Kouri's book, and there's all these people that have written about the case and all of this. So they're public trauma, right? And then you have the family's name,
Richards, yeah,
which was known totally different for good and all of this stuff, and a business, and all this is now known and associated with this case. And then the trust factor. The trust and the safety factor, that's part of it, right? So part of in the financial piece, because y'all know I like the money side, money, remember we always talk about this, money is a tool. It's not an identity. Anytime we take money or things and we say that is our identity, when we feel like those things are being lost, then we will do a bunch of stuff to cause that not to happen, because we don't want loss and we don't want embarrassment, whatever, all of that. And when wealth becomes a substitute for internal alignment, then you have self-judgment and all of that things, and we become very distorted, and our decision making is distorted. So that's just something I just wanted to mention, because I know y'all have questions as well. And me and Patrice can talk forever. So I want to keep me focused on what she wants to do.
Yeah. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about is because there were two cases, Tracy Grist and Donna Adelson, where a grandmother tried to solve their daughter's divorce problem, but by taking out the son-in-law. And you have never tried to take care of my problems. Do you know what I mean? So there was a point, and I like our honesty here. So there was a point, because I just shared paying off my student loans. I did not share that when I graduated with my doctorate in clinical psychology back in 2009, there had just been the market crash and I could not find a job. I had to accept a position that was very underpaid, but that was all I could find. I could get my licensure hours because once I was licensed, it was going to be easier to find a job. It was hard to find jobs that would provide supervision because people that need supervision can't bill under their own name, and so it causes the agency, because the agency has to pay somebody to supervise them as well. And so it was very hard to find positions like that. So I had a doctorate and was unemployed. I had a home, and thankfully somebody had told me to take out a little bit of extra loans so that I could have like some money set aside to, but what I did was I didn't have Netflix, I didn't have internet, I didn't have like, I had the bare minimum for things so that I didn't have cable. I made sure to pay my mortgage, I paid for gas, and I did end up getting a part-time job. So my internship was down in Virginia Beach, and my home was in Richmond, Virginia, which was about 2 hours from Virginia Beach. And then my part-time job was in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which was about an hour north of Richmond. So I was commuting between Fredericksburg. I lived in Richmond. I could stay because my mom was living in Suffolk at the time. So that's close. If you're not from Virginia, if I needed to stay in the Virginia Beach area, I could. And I never asked to borrow money because it was never getting to, and whenever my student loans came due for payment, I was paying whatever the amount, because I did a graduated plan where it started out really low and it was going to balloon to really, really high if I hadn't changed to a different plan. And you never felt the need to solve my problem.
You know, okay, so I'm gonna say yes and no. I felt the need
Okay, yeah,
to
that
solve
would
it.
be nice. Like, would have been nice.
However,
You were also dealing with your own parts of the financial.
yeah, there was, I lost $500,000 in a day. Little things, little things. So anyway, but this is what I'll say is that I learned that Patrice is a critical problem solver. So Patrice would come to my house and get what she needed, like all the toiletries, because I have this humongous pantry, and suddenly my pantry. So I would help her without causing her to be codependent or dependent on me. Is that a better word? So she would go in anything she needed. I had always had food. She would come in and she would stock up on whatever she needed and go back. But this is, and part of it is respect. So Patrice did the things patterns, y'all. Patterns just matter. So when things were happening and got a little tight in my household, for me, I started letting certain things go. I said, well, we're going to have to do this and we're going to let this go and but I always let Patrice know, hey, we're not going to watch this or we're not going to do this. It wasn't some secret thing that was happening and they were asking for it. And I said, oh, I don't know what happened to the internet. I guess no. Tell you the truth. Look, we want to feed you, but without the fear. And so teaching the lesson of when things happen and life happens, then these are some of the adjustments you can make. These are the things that are non-negotiables, like rent, paying your rent, somewhere for you to, cover for your head in your car or whatever, little things like that. And be a person of your word. Don't let your the people that you owe question, why aren't you paying? No, I'm telling you, there's no job, there's no money. How can I set up a payment plan? They typically will set something up with you. So teaching them all of those things are really important. And so somebody put a comment in there, and I just want to address it for just a second. Money is not spiritual, it's not emotional, it's none of those things. It's not money. Money is not evil. Money is not good. Money is a tool. Hear me, y'all. Money is a tool that you use in your life. So let's talk about this. Now, the love of money is the disconnect.
Yeah.
When you put money before humanity, before your character, your integrity, all of those things, that's when we have an issue. And people think it's the money. It's really not the money. It's the person behind the money, because money picks up the character and integrity of the person who has money in their hand.
Yeah.
Because, right, I can take $100 and I can go feed homeless, or I can take $100 and go buy something, right? That's not legal. I mean, people can do both, right? So it's not the money. Think about it as, okay, so in money, not liking money will cause it to leave you.
Yeah.
Not being a good manager of money will cause it not to stay with you.
We can go back to Kouri. Kouri was, money left her. Like, so Kouri, like, she loved it, but she couldn't. The minute she had already spent it before it even got to her account, because her account, I have never, my account, the most negative my account has probably ever been was maybe, it's never been more than like at that. And what happened was I always have savings. So anytime my account went negative, which is very rare, I would have savings to
cover it.
I always have, what's it called? It's that overdraft protection.
Right.
I always have that. And when you connect it to savings, there's normally not a fee.
There's not.
If you connect it to a credit card, there's normally a fee.
So that's the deal. With Kouri is an excellent, it's called stewardship. I love that. You're exactly right. So the first person that we become a steward of is ourselves, right? And so as a mother, one of the things I wanted to make sure I said is motherhood is one of the most powerful leadership roles a person can have. So some people talk about the fact that the relationship may be breached or whatever. So this is the deal. I don't do toxic stuff. I mean, this is Johnny. My name is Johnny. I don't care whatever happened. I don't do toxicity. So I can love you at a distance because I don't want to have, I want to be careful with that, but that doesn't mean I'm in your presence.
And can you tell me how? Because I don't think you didn't always have boundaries with people and money. So people laugh. So I tell my clients, because I'll often have people come into me and they're like, if somebody asks me for money and I have it, I'm going to give it to them. And I'm like, why? No, because there are people that would ask me for money, but they would use that money to go. And there's nothing wrong with getting your nails done, but I'm not giving you money.
I don't want money.
I don't get my nails done. And I am going to get a pedicure before, like I am going to go and treat myself and do all that stuff. But like, and now not having the student loans, I'll be able to shift my mentality some, but, because it's not a joke, it's real. If my sibling called and asked me for $1,000, I would be like, hey, this is what I can do. And it might be, but like, it's not going to be 1,000. Like this is what I can do. And, and I would help them with a plan. So like, let's say they needed money to pay their electricity. Now I'm a resource queen. I will search, hey, this is what you can apply for. Here's the churches in your area or the people in your area that are giving out money. Like, this is what you can do. But because and I don't borrow. I don't let people borrow money. So if I let somebody have money, I give it. I don't do borrowing because normally I don't let people borrow money. It's just,
well, I have issues when people borrow stuff from me. I'm thinking I'm getting it back. So if I'm not gonna get it back, then we have a disconnect. Now I'm feeling some kind of way.
I do numbers and I'm gonna remember. And every time I see you, I'm
remember.
I'm like I don't even see your name. I don't see Jamie. I see you owe me $300. Like every time I see you.
Yeah. Before I know your name, I see your face and you owe me money. And I'm like, whoa. So going back to what Patrice said, notice what she said about that. So that's a tool. And so that's what she would always do. She would say, this is what I've done, da, 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 da. Because how did you fix your issue? How can, right?
So, and I'm in a good position. So not everybody has this. So you trained me how to be a steward over money because there are people that won't tell themselves no. So when I tell people I would sit outside McDonald's and do my notes, which probably like it was before HIPAA where you don't use public Wi-Fi. like that was now we know. So this was back in 2000. It's back in 2010. I would sit outside of literally I would sit outside of McDonald's and do my case notes. So there were people that would be like, I have to have internet. I
Yeah.
can't not have internet.
Yeah, there's ways around it.
I have to have this. I used to go to the library and rent movies. So like you could rent
Right.
DVDs from Walmart. That was back. So this was I'm old, y'all. So this was 2009, 2010. Redbox was a thing. So like I didn't go to the movies. I would wait for it to come out on Redbox and I would get my 99-cent movie from Redbox. I did go like $17,000 in credit card debt because my debt, so my mortgage was $1,800 a month and I was only bringing in maybe if I wasn't bringing in $1,800 a month.
No.
So I wasn't even bringing in enough to pay my mortgage and I needed that savings to cover my mortgage. Now I made more than the minimum payment, whatever. So like I would maybe make a 500, I don't know, like I would make a payment on that credit card bill every month and then once, because what happened was once I was licensed, my pay went from that. I think I made less than $20,000 that first year, right after getting my license.
Mhm.
But then my base position was 45,000 on top of my hourly, which almost got me up to I think 80,000. So
Right.
with that increase in income, I paid off that credit card debt in probably less than a year, maybe 2 years. Yeah.
So look at this, and I just want to look at the strategy, the pattern that she built. So this is the deal. Stewardship is about money. It's your time. Time you don't get back, right? So your energy, all of that. So lately, I'm gonna tell on myself. Lately, for whatever reason, I've been doing Korean
K-dramas?
dramas, and I got I
What have you been watching? I didn't even know
I've
that.
been so addicted. I just really, and the other morning I said, "You've got to get off of this. You have,
I've stayed up.
you have a problem."
I've stayed up to like 3 a.m. because
I mean, what in the world am I doing?
it was too
You
good.
know, and you know I need my sleep. So
Because
the
you
other,
wake up at like 5 a.m. or earlier.
I was up, and so this one was like, "This is the." I said, "No, you can't do it. It's 52 minutes." I said, "But it's season 3. You know, it's number 3." Oh my God. And so I said, "Johnny, you have a problem right here." So this is the deal. When you find something that you uncover in your life
Okay.
that is taking over
Okay.
in such a way that you know that it's not supporting, whether it be your sleep, whether it be your money, whatever, then you still have to be a great steward and go, yeah, what? So you have to move forward. Okay, so let's go back to Patrice. If Patrice hadn't have been a good steward with the 20,000 or what she was making, right? Not that it was enough,
It was
but
not
if she didn't have a strategy and a good steward of that, when she got the 45, she was still going to be she was going to use the same habits. When you get to 80, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you spend. I know somebody right now literally makes $1 million a year and they're under the tree in debt. You know why? They spend more than $1 million a year. So don't let social media, don't let anybody else, don't let people determine, don't even have self-discipline. Kouri had no self-discipline. What are you thinking? 3 people let's talk about the big mansion. Oh, 20,000 square feet. You ain't even got a plan for it. Are you serious right now? So 2 people, a guy with all the money who started it and he walked away from it. Then another person did it and they walked away from it. And go ahead. And
There's
all
a
the stuff they
difference
say, don't
between
do this.
confidence and arrogance. And she was arrogant. She was not. So I think she thought I can do this better. Like I have a plan for this and they couldn't, I can make this work.
I think you call that delusional.
It was yeah. But I don't want to make it sound like a psychology term because
okay, so I'll say it. I'm not a psychologist. Delusional. Anyway, so this is the deal. What happens when you lie to yourself?
your brain believes it. Which part?
That's right.
Okay.
Your brain doesn't know a lie from the truth. So you say, I can do it. I can do it. Your brain says, I don't know. This ain't working so well. And stuff starts coming up and your brain starts looking at the script of the sheet. But she didn't know numbers. Honest to goodness, she couldn't have known numbers to do the stuff she did. And this is the other side. She may not have cared.
I don't think she cared. or she was so like the animosity about if I could just get his money, this would work. Do you know what I mean?
She then got the 1 point, she got the money for
For
his
the one
insurance,
policy.
and it disappeared so fast. It was ridiculous. Okay, so let me give you some great information. Can I, may I? Okay, so let's say that you were Kouri's friend and you had $45,000, but you had bad credit. Okay. Do not ever give people money that you can't afford to lose. Number one. Number two, with that kind of money, she could have set up, her friend could have set it up in the escrow account and put her name on the mortgage as well, so that she could have done it. And when Kouri turned around and took that property and put it up as collateral on another property, she would have been aware. But this is the deal. Because it was a lien, whoever bought the property would have had to pay her back her 45 grand.
And normally when you do an escrow account, that's done with a lawyer. It's
done with a lawyer.
Okay. Yeah.
You set it up through a lawyer. So this is the deal.
Because what happened, because there was actually a form that would have made it in her name, but Kouri didn't file it. And that's where the friend just didn't know that she couldn't trust her. But there were all of these signs. And so that's where you have to be careful if there's this mean girl group.
Oh, that's true.
Because sometimes I think, so like they would kind of banter about other people. And Kouri would talk about, she probably saw how Kouri did other people, how she did her sister-in-law, how she's doing all these other people. And she's thinking she would never do it to me. But if it was between Kouri and money, or like if it's between what Kouri wants and what you want, Kouri's always going with what she wants. And so that's where you have to be careful. Go ahead.
Okay. So if a person, this is what my mother taught me. Okay. This is, Mother's Day. Come in. My mother taught me this. She said, okay, and don't take this personally. She said, any dog that will bring a bone will carry a bone. So if they bring in you gossip, they're going to carry gossip away. If they're talking about everybody in the room but you, because you're there, trust me, when we're in a different setting, they're going to do that. So this is from two sides. If you're that person, just be a little bit better. And if you're not that person, but you know people like that, you might not want to give them your secrets. You might want to be careful, right? And so I'm the kind of person that I just did a deal with. I think I mentioned this last time. I did a deal with this person that I really like, and I think they're really great, and I've known them for years. They needed resources. So I wrote all the legal documents out because I'm that kind of chick. And then I put a lien against something that was worth 3 times what they borrowed.
Mama don't play. Don't mess with mama's money.
Okay, so it's not that I can't afford to lose.
You've went into business with friends before. And things did not go well. I'm putting that.
I can't breathe on that. Y'all don't want to know how much money I lost going into business with friends. So I don't do friends. I do family.
Or you have legal ramifications to protect your investment.
Yeah, she's so cute. Isn't she cute when she do it like that? She looks so much like me. Legal ramifications to protect your investment. Okay. So anyway.
So I have a solo practice because sometimes I don't want to people. So mom isn't a lawyer. So I know mama uses ChatGPT way too much, but she probably runs the documents. I hope she probably runs them by like,
legal. Yeah.
You get it notarized, you run it by a real lawyer, but my mom has done enough contracts. So my mother used to do contracts for the federal government, $1 billion contracts. Yeah. She's been the financial person over entire bases where I was grounded from gum for a year, and my mother told every person. So on Air Force
in Germany.
We were in Germany. It's called so every place I would go on base, she was the one that funded their budget. And she told them, if you sell Patrice gum, I'm cutting your budget. That's probably illegal.
I think it was encouraging or whatever. It was It was not a good thing to do. But I was off the chain. I was off the chain back there.
I truly did not have gum for a year. If I bought a blow pop, I had to show them. Like, Patrice, show me the gum.
They said, bring me the blow pop. Bring me, after you eat the candy, bring it back to me. Because they said, your mama don't play. And if I saw her chewing, it was on and popping. But let me tell you why I did that. And so most people say,
there was consequences. So I lied. So how I got into this situation, I was in 5th grade or 6th grade, and I had just put a piece of new fresh gum into my mouth. And I cannot chew gum in a way where everybody in the room does not know that I have gum in my mouth. And the teacher's rule was you can't have gum. So y'all want to know why I don't like oppositional defiant disorder? I had a little opposition defiance in me. And so I was popping, blowing bubbles. And teacher was like, Patrice, do you have gum? I was like, oh, throw it away. So I threw away half of it. But then I sat back down and I continued to pop. I didn't have my act right. No act right was installed, not even half an act right. So I continued to pop the gum. I get caught. And so I get detention for lying. And so I end up grounded for a year because I lied. Because so my mom was like, so if I had gotten detention for chewing the gum without the lying, it might have been it wouldn't have been as long. But she's like, you lied. Like my mama's thing, she did. You lied like that, and I lied all the time.
But some things you have to get out of your children.
Be sneaky, but you don't,
because lying is a pattern. Lying is actions have actions have consequences.
So if I didn't like her rule, I didn't think I should follow it. So she also had a rule where I couldn't watch soap operas. But I was a latchkey kid. She wasn't home. So if she wasn't home during the day, how did you know I watched a soap opera? Or you had to do your chores before you watched TV. And we lived in Germany. There was one TV station. There was one, and from 12:30 or from so I was watching General Hospital. I was watching Days of Our Lives. So there were 3 hours or 2 hours where there was no other channel besides German channels or British channels to watch. It was only one.
German. So this is the deal. So, okay, there's no perfect parents and there is no perfect children. Okay. So the thing about it is accountability and responsibility. Right? This is the thing as a parent that I'll tell you is that if your child ever comes to you or cause your children to know this in their heart of hearts, that there is nothing they can do to cause you not to love them. You can go ahead.
And also, so I think, and I wouldn't have appreciated it then, but you could have told me, Patrice, there are things on these shows that are not age appropriate. Do you know what I mean? Like
that would not have made a difference, y'all.
I still would have. That would probably make me want to watch it more. I don't know.
Now y'all know what I'm dealing with.
I didn't think it was a good rule.
See, that's the other thing. What happens? Okay, so let's just a second. What happens when you raise a really smart, intelligent child like the one they're raising right now? So what happens? So what happens when you're facing what you did? So that was me. She is me. She's a mini me.
And I have a mini person
on steroids. Because each time you multiply, right, you become better. Good Nabin. Yes.
Good afternoon in Germany.
Right. So anyway, but the deal is don't kill their spirit. Give them space to be them in a space of accountability and give them information. So Patrice's opinion met. What? Oh, she looking like she don't know. What happened? She confused. You know what? I'm glad I'm not sitting right next to her, y'all.
I think what you told me is just like, you're going to be your own boss one day. I'm pretty sure you said that.
I did that. I'm pretty sure did.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Because nobody. Okay, so
you don't like being told what to do. I don't. You need to make enough money to support your lifestyle.
Your lifestyle. So, and that's the thing. If y'all go back and y'all listen to the stuff I said, Patrice, I never told Patrice said she wanted to be a hairdresser once. I mean, she does a great job with her hair, as y'all can see. But she was caught up in the novelty of it. So she was caught up in the novelty of it, but I come in with the reality of it. I said, no problem. You want to be a hairdresser? And she said, yeah. I said, do you like the way you live? She said, yes. I said, this level. And she said, yes. I'm going to live in better than this. I said, well, you're going to have spas and you're going to have a bunch of them because you're going to need that in order to live like this. So I never told her no, she couldn't be a hairdresser.
Yeah.
I gave her some boundaries, some boundaries around, okay, this is what you want to do, no problem. So in my opinion, when somebody like, whether it be Kouri or it be the mother-in-law, you have to have boundaries in life. You just do. Some things that you will not do. It's not up to you. You don't get a chance to orchestrate. I get a chance to have a reaction to somebody else's action.
we can save that one for a moment.
Okay, no problem. So we can have reaction. I can have a reaction to your action. So this is why I tell people, I say, you have 90% accuracy rate. People say, I don't. Yes, you do. 10% you can't control. I can't control what Patrice does, but I can control my 90, how I respond to what she does. That is the part I can control. With Richens, when he ate the sandwich in the car, he said, this is like, she keeps on trying to kill me. Hello?
Her friend, the defense elicited that response, I believe.
Yeah,
this was a joke, ma'am. She's on trial for him.
Wait a minute, and it happened around the same time that she kept on going to the next step to do it. So my thing is, when you feel a certain kind of way, sometimes you don't know why you feel. Have you ever had your children or even a person around you say, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with them, I don't understand it, something's up? Like the girl that we were talking about earlier. What question is, am I gonna marry a murderer? Are you serious right now? So anyway, so the key is that there's some things that you say no to. You just say no to.
So you, and I think this will be a nice segue into talking.
There is something behind her name.
Because at the end of your marriage to my father, when you found out you were pregnant with me, you decided that you wanted something different. Is that the polite way of saying it?
I decided, no, I was 5 months when I found I was pregnant. Let's first of all say that. And I wasn't supposed to have any children was the other thing. So yeah. So at some once, yeah, that's a good way to say it. You are so generous.
Because I thought it was my godmother picked my name.
You are correct.
Because you were not talking to my father at the time.
No, you are correct.
Her blood pressure, he couldn't be in the hospital.
He couldn't even be on within 500 whatever yards. I could
not because, but her blood pressure would rise to a dangerous level. They did a test where I think somebody was on, and like she could feel. It was some. She could feel when his foot crossed the threshold of the hospital.
And not just the hospital. I worked in accounting and finance, and they said this chick is lying. This man is because he's military, and he said she can't tell. So the doctor said, we're gonna do a test. I worked in this huge building. I told them when he stepped his foot on the property, I said, he's here. And the baby, Patrice is doing all this stuff in my stomach. I said, he's here. They said, and so they checked. They said, where is he? He just stepped on the property. And so they said, it's negatively impacting the baby. We are going to we don't care where y'all send it.
And you could have done a crime and you chose not to. Thank you for not doing a crime. That would have.
I don't know that choice. I'll say that the Lord. So, I attempted to do a crime. No judgment, y'all. Don't be judging me. Don't be judging me.
So, because we're going to talk about Tracy Grist and Donna Adelson a little bit more.
Okay.
And with the divorce. Now, I think with the situations with the other fathers, they were going to fight to keep their children with them and everything. And so you had the flexibility. My father did not fight you because y'all had joint custody of him. It was legally joint. Like it was legal and physical. It was joint custody. You probably did you threaten to kill him? Is that we're not gonna she gonna plead the fifth on that one.
When did I get on the stand? Okay, it was attempt.
So, but like this is a nice situation for like an honest, real.
No. It's really seriously. Okay, so let's back up.
Okay.
I love the question. Where did Patrice's names come from? Her godmother gave her a name. Who was my neighbor, right? Who was our neighbor because we built this, and they lived next door, best friends, whatever. So she named her. So Patrice's name, her first name is from her father. Her middle name is from me. And then, of course, the last name, right? So she's the only child. Absolutely. If you do it once, you do it right. I'm just saying. So anyway, but that's not really the truth. But yeah, that's enough. So when I saw her after they finally brought her to me, my mother did some things and they brought her to me. She looked like he spit her out and I had nothing to do with it.
So for all the people that say I look like my mom, I'm sorry.
So
I'll pull up a picture.
Yeah, you have two brothers. Yeah. So anyway, and so she looked like him. And there was some denial. There was a whole bunch of drama going on. But
I still remember that you cried, but it's okay.
He looked like I still remember that you cried. Oh, that's okay. Anyway, I called her a rat. Can I just be honest? I called her a rat. So
I had a cone head. I
stayed in the channel, the birthing channel, and her head looked like a cone head. So, and she had gray eyes, like my mother has hazel eyes, but she has gray eyes, and she looked just like him. So anyway, so the deal is that so she looked like him. So I called her, who she came out as. And so this is what she came out looking like him. So I named her
Patrice. Okay.
Yeah, Patrice. So this is what all of her life until years later. I look just like my mommy. I
always thought.
And so she said, "I look just like you." Everybody says I look like you. I said, "Okay." Okay. And I looked at her every day and I said, "You look just like your daddy." But this is the other side.
You never said that to my face. I don't.
But you couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
But this is the other side. When we get pregnant, we have a child. It's and I do, and thank you. We're both cute. So my thing is that I can't be upset with how her DNA showed up. What I did was I love her. I just love her.
Oh, let me back.
And the reason I love her is not because she looks like me or looks like him. I love her because she's her own unique being. And she's a blend of everything. So she wasn't ready to handle because there was some issues. So she wasn't ready to deal with the fact she looked just like her daddy. And I didn't need to make her pay for the fact that she looked just like her daddy.
And you never did.
I never did. I never talked bad about him or nothing like that.
The one thing that we talked about is because you used to try to compensate, and that, and I was able to give you feedback eventually, or you kind of figured out that made things worse. And so you let it be what it was, and you didn't try to, because sometimes, and also I often find the parent that decides to leave often feels guilt about, like, I put my child in this situation, like I'm the reason why we're not in the same household, when really kids do better in two separate houses versus one toxic household. way, way better if there can be, and they need just one safe place to land, at least one safe place
Yeah.
to land, and kids will be okay. I will tell you all, so my dad and stepmom and siblings stayed at my mom's house.
Yeah.
So like years later, probably
Years.
years later,
I like her and I like him.
Yeah.
And I love them. And her older brother thinks he belongs to me some days. And I love them. I love them. I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, and that's the part. The healing part comes with being open enough to be authentically who you are, your identity, and to be safe enough to say, I can have this much of it or that much of it. Because when they came to stay at the house, somebody asked me, well, will you let him stay? No. For what? No. I'll let them stay. But no, I mean, no. And not because I'm interested. I'm not interested in it. That's not the issue. The issue is that I'm respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm respectful. She would never have to worry about me.
When she says she means my stepmom.
Oh yeah. And I don't want to her name, but she's just amazing. And we went shopping, all of this, y'all. But this is the deal with that. When you are healed, when you become whole, Kouri, I don't care. When you are healed, when you become whole, then whether it be you're working with money and some bad decisions you made, you're dealing with your daughter and the fact that you want your kids a certain place, whatever, when you become healed and whole, you're open, your heart and your head and your life becomes open in such a way that you get a chance to live life on better terms.
Love that. Here's a question. Can you speak on not having a relationship with your mother? And yes. And so there are people, and I have an episode, and I might have to have Mama come back maybe in June, maybe next month. Our next one might be on people that have made the decision to go low contact or no contact. And I always put safety first. And emotional safety is just as important as physical safety. And there are some times where people can be low contact, or if they do go for a visit, they only stay a certain number of days. They get their own hotel room. Sometimes they do certain things that can kind of keep them safe. I'm big. I would not leave my child alone with somebody that had harmed me. And so the reason why my mom is able to babysit her grandson is because she agrees to not use physical discipline. She does not scream, berate, she doesn't do any of those things. So I do not leave my child alone with anybody that I would be concerned would not do things in the way that we're okay with. Sometimes you have to grieve it. We don't get to choose our family. We get to choose our friends. And some people lean into what's called chosen family. And sometimes they grieve that mother. So Mother's Day, people are often talking about that ideal view, that nurturing, loving, caring, the mother that protected, the mother. And how do you handle it if that wasn't your experience?
Wow. I think what you just said is so powerful, because I think it's the awareness that it's not your experience. And then the second part was that it's not your fault.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
That it's not your experience and it's not your fault. That she's dealing with her stuff, whatever that is, and you don't get a chance to change them, right? However, you do get a chance to live the best life moving forward. And like Patrice said, maybe in June, we'll talk about those dynamics and how that dynamic looks for you. And then how do you not judge yourself regarding that? And when you're in their presence, because some people say they have limited relationship, sometimes they make you want to be guilty or feel guilty about it, and not to judge them, not to look at them and say, whatever, or this is the reason. That I can gather my rocks, whatever my rocks are, and I get a chance to put them in a safe place, whatever that is. So I would say that. And then the last thing I would say is this: is don't focus on what they were not. Because our brain duplicates what we give most energy to. So I don't know about you, but I've met people and I know people that says, I will never be like in the parent, whatever the situation, and I would never do whatever it is. However, because of their focus on it, when the pattern came, the brain immediately engaged and was like that.
Because I don't think Kouri acknowledges or sees how she did the same and worse than her mother did to her.
Yeah.
Because her mother's gambling led to, according to her story, it led to the downfall of a relationship. It led to all of these other things. And she did not break that cycle because of her own choices and behavior. So we don't get to control what happens to us. We are responsible for our healing. So there's pain and then there's suffering. Pain, I can't handle, like I can't stop pain. Sometimes something painful happens. Suffering is what I do with the pain. And that's where sometimes working with a therapist, it's a Buddhist principle, like it comes out of a Buddhist tradition. Dialectical behavior therapy kind of incorporated some of that. And that's where we talk about distress tolerance. We talk about radical acceptance. And acceptance is an approval. It's just not fighting reality. And if my reality is that I don't have, so I do, but I'm going to say it this way. If I don't have a mother that I can be honest with and that's a safe space for me, I can't, because sometimes what happens is people, they don't change the way they're thinking. So they go into the dynamic hoping that loving, accepting, that mother that they want will show up versus accepting the one they have. And it's just like, I don't have that. It's not my fault. How do I heal with, okay, this is what I have. My parent is this. And because of that, these are the choices that help keep me safe. These are the choices that help not endanger my children, my family, or even me, because sometimes people will do it for their children, but they won't do it for themselves.
That's good.
And so you're just as important. And so I just, because we talked a little bit about my dad in a vague way. My dad is the most caring, loving, like I intentionally, if I asked him for any amount of money, he would just give it. Like he would just, he really is who he is. He is where I think a lot of our ADHD symptoms come from. I haven't told him that in person. If he watches my channel, hey Pops. And everybody does the best they can. And in doing my own healing, because there was a time in my life where I was stuck based on how I perceive things. And when you are raising the child, so like my siblings were all raised with my dad and stepmom. I was raised with my mom. And so there were times when I was jealous of the home they had. And there were times when I would compare. There were times when all those things would happen. And me healing that helped heal the relationships that I have with my siblings. It helped heal a lot of those things. And sometimes things continue to heal. Like it's not a one-time thing, but in kind of grieving that, there are some and no parent is perfect.
None.
Used to be hard for me to find Father's Day cards because sometimes they didn't fit what I needed it to fit. And so if somebody has a difficult relationship with their mom, sometimes looking at you were always there, or you're I don't know, like sometimes looking at those cards can be very triggering. And so sometimes you just find a blank one. It's like, it just says Happy Mother's Day. If they do send any type of Mother's Day message. So sometimes looking for the blank ones. Because there will be people in that Mother's Day aisle just like, nope. Like, nope. This isn't like, just where's the section of cards that's just like, you were my mother. Happy Mother's Day. Right.
DNA works.
Yes. And so, all right.
Let me say this, if I may. This is the deal. Yeah, a lot of people will look at this and say, "Oh my gosh, they have such an amazing relationship," and we do, and I value it. However, that's not the way me and Patrice didn't come out. She didn't start off being my friend. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a.
You were always friendly, so like I could
There's
always
a difference in friendly and friend.
Clearly, my mom. You were always clearly mom.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that when we build a relationship with people that we love, it's through trust. It's through continuing to be there, being a person of my word. If I tell her I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if for whatever reason, if something happened and I could not do it, I let her know I am not going to be able to do this. That's one of the things when you in a relationship is really key, when people can trust you. Now, let me tell you about the self-confidence side. On the neural side, the way your brain is this. When you shift and you say, I'm going to do this, and then you say, nope, I'm going to do that, your brain realigns to that. But when you tell your brain or another person that you're going to show up, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, whatever it is, and you don't, your self-confidence, hear me, your self-confidence decreases, because what your negative self-talk says, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do it. So it's like recently I'm doing some stuff and I said, you're not gonna not eat fruit. Go buy fruit. Stop playing. Go stop perpetrating. And that's a little thing, but it's a big thing. So be honest with yourself and let your words matter when it comes to your children, when it comes to you. So yeah, just think of it.
All right. Here's the next question.
Okay.
How is it that how is that parents can raise two children 4 years apart so differently? One independent, the other. And so that's where every child, so two kids can grow up in the exact same household and turn out, and they have different experiences. They have different things going on. And if the children are still in the home, so that's where I like to be open and honest with you all. Some things were coming up with our son that I felt were beyond just kind of normal kid stuff. And so that's where, even as a licensed psychologist, I can't diagnose my own child. I can't test him. I can't, like when I say, so I do psychological testing of other people's children. And so we met with a neutral person. I had to find a psychologist that I didn't know. I found a really great evaluator. Because I have a really high standard for people, and she's doing a phenomenal job with the report, and we will see where things go. And so just because a child has a problem doesn't necessarily mean that the parent is doing something wrong. And so sometimes parents need support and direction. And then I know for us, the results of this evaluation might result in our child getting supports at school. There might be certain accommodations, certain things that our kiddo needs, even though he's thriving at school. But as a parent, I can see us having problems down the road if certain things aren't addressed. And so that is what I will. Did you have anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I love the way that you were so with such clarity and intentionality of what you just said, because I think sometimes when people know that as brilliant as you are, that your life is not perfect. And that's what I think all of us need to, this is truth. Sometimes when we're looking at other things, everybody's life looks so perfect, but it may not be the truth. So this is what I love to add to that is to remember that giving our children or the person that we love what they need is medicine. Giving them what they need is healing. Giving them what they need is all of those things. However, mothers, fathers, whoever, everybody is listening to this, that doesn't mean that you don't get a chance to get some of the things that you need. Right? So it's very important. You have to put your oxygen mask on first. That's what she was doing. I was like, what is she doing? Put your oxygen mask on first. Yeah, and I was not good at that. Can I be honest? I was horrible.
You faked it really well, and you faking it made me think you were Superwoman, and it made me hide my emotions too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we've had these conversations offline. You can tell when we're having something new where I'm like, "Wait a minute," where I throw a curveball question at her, but, and we've given each other feedback where it was like, and my mom didn't want me to see her cry because I think she didn't want me to feel like I was, but there were times in her life where, and like we were in the same home. She had major things going on at work, and I had no clue. But from the perspective of now, it just would have been nice to like, hey, mom has a lot going on at work. Maybe I knew that because I don't know. But as I got older and we talked about things from the past, I was able to find out like my mom was sued over something that wasn't her issue and she won, like the lawsuit was thrown out, or was it jury, or how, what
No,
was
I don't. It was jury.
okay.
Mhm.
And the jury decided
It
that
wasn't true.
wasn't me.
But and this is the thing. And so then at some point, so when your children see, sometimes as parents, we don't want to hear what our children are saying. So when I listened more intently, I said, okay, you're coming in and you're treating her like she's one of your employees. You have 52 people working for you. She is not the 53rd, right? She is not number 53. But I was treating her like she was number 53. So this is the deal. So when I found that out, this is what I would do. By the time we hit, because that's when the suits were happening and all that was in Virginia. And so what I tell her, and my nephews came to live with us for a minute, and she was trying to school them. Let me help y'all. Let me give y'all the 911 on this chick, right? Let me help you. If she comes in the door and she heads straight up the steps, we're gonna eat. It's gonna be okay.
Stay out her way.
Stay out of her way. But this is what I realized, that it wasn't fair to her. It's not fair to your children for them to pay for what's happening, the chaos that you may be living in. So I had to go upstairs and come back and be mommy, because the chick that walked in the door was a person who was the executive that had 52 people working for her and all that good stuff, right? But the person who came down just wanted to know, come on, they just want to know dinner. Where's dinner? So, and there was this brilliant young man, one of my nephews, he decided that he had testosterone, and he would decided that I was a little short chick and he was going to do what he wanted to do. And then this other person showed up.
Dr. Berry? Okay, good. Okay. I think you're going to give the vague version and not the actual version. Okay.
No,
I was about to say that I do not agree.
No, I wasn't going to give it because I realized I'm on your show. Anyway,
so my mom, and y'all know, so I became a psychologist because I probably told a friend that my mom said that she would kill me and make another one just like me.
That's because my mother said it. And she had 7 of us, so I believed her. Anyway, go ahead.
But like I wasn't scared. Like she wasn't actually like she just wanted me to stop doing whatever I was doing. And I've mentioned here before, I was very, very hard-headed. Now there are other ways to talk to children. Dr. Barrett, you should not talk to children that way, or else your child will also end up in the guidance counselor's office because a concerned friend mentions to the guidance counselor, but this guidance counselor did not handle the situation appropriately. My mom's name is Johnnie. And the guidance counselor brought me into the office and she was like, "Hey, Patrice, how are you?" I was like, "I'm good." She was like, "Does your dad ever touch you?" And I was like, "What? What?" And so based on that interaction, I decided I wanted to work with kids, and that because if my situation was not safe, I would not have ever told her.
Right.
And so, because she probably got a report of suspected harm.
Well, and what happened is I was coming back from another country because that's the job I had. So I was coming back from the US, and I flew back in, and the first thing after we land is they said something crazy to me about. They said, "Where you want to go, Miss Lloyd?" I said, "School." They said, no, you want to take, no, straight to the school. So they said,
Middle
and
school.
they said, Johnnie, you morphed. You morphed. And I said, no, I was calm. They said, yeah, but you morphed. We saw behind your eyes. We morphed. So I went in and I helped the lady reanalyze her life.
She just reframed that. She professionally let that woman know that woman probably retired after that conversation. I don't know if she did. But
her contract did not renew because I own the money. And it's not that I'm saying, girl, please stop. Anyway, this is the deal. I don't threaten people. I don't, unless they step in my turn.
You follow up with consequences.
I just truth or dare, truth or consequences. Wasn't there some kind of movie about that? So the guy said, and the guy said, he said, Ms. Lloyd, he said, we don't think we're going to renew her contract. I said, that's a good idea.
So if she had handled the situation,
she handled it horribly.
If she had come in and been like, your friends have made some concerning statements, like, how are things at home? Because I would have told her, my mom is currently in the United States. My dad lives in Turkey. Like, I'm in Germany. I'm staying with my best friend and her family. So this woman knew nothing about me. And her second question was about something that was not happening. And like, I was like, it was very, I was very upset. And
yeah, and that's the wrong thing, because as a parent, going back to these cases, as a parent, when you see your children, that's one of the reasons that I didn't threaten the lady. I didn't threaten her.
You followed up with consequences.
I just talked to the right people, and I let them know.
You didn't have to threaten.
I don't threaten people. You don't have to. It's like, the mafia. Well, that's just probably a wrong term. The Korean people that come in and they show up and they say, they have energy because they walk in the room and do certain things. No, the Korean shows I watch, they're mafia
dramas. Okay.
It's not because they're Korean, they're because they're mafia people. That's the ones I'm really liking. So anyway, but this is the thing. When you have power and authority, hear me, and that's with your children, in your marriage, or whatever, in the relationship, don't abuse it. Don't abuse it. Now, somebody on here probably say, I think you just abused your power. No,
she was bad at her job.
She wasn't just doing it to my child. She was doing it to a lot of other children. It's just that she, in this case,
did it to the wrong one.
Did it to the wrong child. Because you're right, my name is unisex, and I had a lot of fun with that, and I still do have fun with it.
Because if people call to ask to speak to Mr. Johnnie, she's like, he's not in right now. Can you call back later? I'll get him your message.
When H freezes over. Anyway, so the deal is that I've always been like that, but I've always been okay. So after the divorce, and people have to be careful of this. When something tragic happens to you, because I thought that was for life. So when something tragic happens, I picked up this. I'm going to tell you, like I was drinking water earlier, I was drinking testosterone. Because that's the way I needed to show up. To climb every corporate ladder, I had to show up a certain way. And I was not only the color that I am, I was also, y'all saw the little fluffy picture. She was fluffy. She was a little fluffy, And so there were certain impressions. But when I opened my mouth, and this is the other side of it, when you walk in with power and authority, know your stuff. Yeah. You don't have to fight for space when you know your stuff. You become the person in the room that people are looking for information, because I'm a truth teller. So the 3 stars would say, they said, why isn't Johnnie in the meeting? And they said, well, sir, we decided, she gave us a brief, we're good. He said, nope, I'm not good. Get her. And so then he was like, I want to see he said, I want her to sit right there at your seat. I want her to sit right there. And because he knows if they start saying things that were not true, that my face would start doing stuff, and he would look at him. He said, y'all lying. And they said, could you control your face? I said, I am, but I'm trying to help y'all, but y'all know. Because my face tells the truth. And so what I had to realize, if my face is going to tell the truth, then my mouth should speak truth. And it shouldn't have been that way. It should have been the other way. My mouth is going to speak truth, so my face is always telling the truth, right? So the key with it is that your children and your spouse or whatever, they feel when truth is happening. So when there's problems in the house, financial issues or whatever, you don't have to give your children the 911 on why they can't see their whatever grandmother or whatever. So, it's just not healthy, baby. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do this, da, da, da. I'm not going to dog them. The reason I never talked bad about her father, I said, because he'll show, look, I said, he'll show up with knight in shining armor and she'll look at me and say, you lied to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be a lie. I said, she needs to learn him on her own. And so, like, just like Dr. Beard, she got it from me. She got it from me.
So I look like my dad. My personality is like 90% my
100 me. And so the brilliance of that is that when you show up authentically, when you show up as who you are, you don't have to fight for other things. You don't have to fight things. You really don't. You have to stand in your truth.
Some people that want to fight, so I pick and choose my battles.
Oh, that's true.
So there's some people because you're leaving out the part of when people try to engage you, you're just like, not so like if you're at Walmart and the cashier starts getting really rude,
aggressive with my food,
you'd be like, sweetie, was it me?
Yeah, I'll ask them. I said, baby, you having a bad day? My apples haven't done anything to you. And so the lady normally does what Patricia did, start laughing. And she said, yeah, I'm having a hard time. And I said, but don't take it out on my food, okay? Because you want me to buy this. And she said, I said, so are you going to be okay when I leave here? Because, I'm going to be nice about it. But the people behind me may call the manager. And she said, ma'am, thank you so much. Okay, I'm just going to let you know.
And so when I talk about being kind, that is something that we actively practice. There is a Walmart near where I live where I don't ask people for help because the people that work there do not think, because if you ask them where something is, they roll their eyes and they like get mad. And it's just like, but like, it's just like so I know where I am. And this is not the Walmart. So if I want to go and ask questions, I go to Target. I normally don't go to Target, but I go to the Walmart in Fredericksburg. I go somewhere else. I do not go to one particular Walmart because the people that work there do not believe that you should be able to ask questions. I went to Chick-fil-A the other day and I order early in the app and I was talking to my mom on the phone and I was just like, why isn't this person, they need to get their life together. I was talking all this trash about the person in front of me that was taking forever. And I try to pull up my code. So I do mobile pickup where you can scan your app and they send it. I don't have to talk to a person. And so I try to pull it up and there's an error. Like Chick-fil-A's like, would you like to order food? And it's like, wait a minute. Y'all already charged me for the food I ordered and you didn't give it to me yet. So the person in front of me, I think, had the exact same issue. We were able to work it out. It took probably about 34 because I hung up with my mom. I was like, hey mama, this is going to take some time. I got my patience. I let my husband know, hey, the food's going to be a little bit later than normal. It'll, I'll be home when I'm home. And so we don't take it out on other people.
Yeah. Always give your children a safe place to land.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked much about the case, but the one case is Tracy Geis.
Yes.
Is one of the things regarding it is that sometimes we will respond as parents to a situation that is really, I'm going to say it like this, none of our business. None of our business. And so I encourage, I support, I do all of that, right? So this is the way I treat me and Patrice's relationship. On days I can't talk to her, I let her know. I'll text her, because we have a standing appointment every day. And she jacked me up because on Tuesday, she don't go to work. And I'm like, where'd my call? And I thought, oh, that's right, it's Tuesday. Because I said, dang, that's how, anyway. So when people try to meet with me, and I have clients that be like, why can't we meet at this time? I have a standing appointment. That appointment is not removable. She's my appointment. So the reason I'm telling you this is that there's some things, each child, somebody asked earlier, how do you have, every child is different. So that is our time. Now, every time it doesn't work because sometimes things happen and she can't be there. Things happen and I can't be here. But when I can and when she does, I value that. I value that. So we do like we're doing here, y'all. We went from A to Z. That's the way we normally do. You don't want that? Don't bring us together. We do A to Z, and we need y'all to follow us. We need y'all just to follow and ask questions in the chat. That's what I'm saying. Ask questions, chat. You know.
Today was a little better, I think. But with Tracy Grist, I think she was also being selfish, because if her daughter filed for divorce, she was not going to be able to let her children leave. Like her daughter and grandkids would have to stay in California. She was established in California. The chances that she would be able to move the children to Utah was going to be slim to none. And that was going to have to be okay. Because now Tracy's in jail, the daughter's in jail, the kids or something, like what they chose to do ruined everybody's life. And the sad thing was they thought they would get away with it. And then imagine if they had, that's the weird part, where it's like, you just took out the father. And I get, so neither one of the parents were winning parent of the year, but that doesn't mean do murder. You just don't get to jump to that place. Go through the appropriate court systems. There was a recent tragic murder-suicide in Virginia, where during a very complex custody battle and divorce, Justin Fairfax made the decision to unalive his wife and also himself with his children in the home. And the children were the ones that realized, they were the ones that had to call 911. And that is just horrific. The state of Virginia may be changing, because state of Virginia right now, if you have children, you have to have a year of separation, legal separation, before you can go through the divorce process. If that time had been shorter, I don't know if that would have saved her life. I think what needed to happen was our red flag law because he had shown declining mental health and increasing control. There was more erratic behavior. This was clear, the DV aspect of this was increasing. And I like talking about these things just so we can, because I understand why people sometimes think divorce, this is going to be bad, but you have to do it safely. And that's where I've recommended my clients go to our local domestic violence shelter and seek support, be able to get the resources, and get a lawyer that specializes in the type of case that they have, and that can kind of go from there. So we have a whole podcast that we used to do. So please go out and check out. It's Legacy Moments. It's linked on my channel. So we have a whole podcast. We have probably 70 episodes or something.
It's crazy. And we were in the same room most of the time. So it was, y'all think this is bad?
Imagine us nudging each other and me falling off camera because I'm laughing and crying so hard. That was hilarious.
Somebody asked about us arguing. Do we argue? There was a question up here.
The way we handle conflict is we have discussions.
Yeah.
Because let's say our discussion, so we're doing a trip together for my mom's 70th birthday. All right. They asked earlier. So yes, that is Mama's natural gray. She used to try to dye it black and she just gave up. I think it was during the Rona.
It was during Corona. It was during Corona.
She just decided to just let it go. And so we are doing a special trip this year. I owe her money for it. And so let's say I needed to pay her that money. She would just be like, "Hey, Patrice, don't forget, this is the amount." But and I would pay it. Dude. So I'm trying to think of a major conflict. Can you think of how do we handle?
Have we had a major conflict?
Ooh, so
We do, I'm
one.
sure.
The absolute best one was when I was still a child. My mom had just came back from a long trip away, and my best friend's dad taught me how to drive. And we were driving to church at night. And the way the parking lot was, is if there wasn't a park down the row, you had to back up. Like you couldn't just go around. You had to back up to figure things out. So this is the day that the Lord saved my life. The Lord has intervened on her not committing a murder on at least 2 occasions.
At least 2 occasions. At least 2. I can think of the third one, but there's at least 2.
So I'm driving with her for the very first time. So when my mom was teaching me how to drive, we started in the school parking lot. So she used to let me drive from the passenger seat while she did her makeup, while she did whatever. I've been driving from the passenger seat since I was like 10 years old. Getting in the driver's seat, she's like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know. So we started in the school parking lot. And she's like, turn, because you have to make it like they're not real turns. You have to like make a course in the school parking lot. And then she wants me, because our street didn't have, oh, no, I think we're going to go on base, because on base, there weren't mailboxes. That was supposed to be step number 2. And then she was going to maybe let me drive on our street, which was like there wasn't, our street wasn't bad at all. So, but she went on a work trip away. And I stayed once again with my best friend and her family, and her dad on the very first, if there are any Virginians in the chat, on our very first drive, my best friend's dad took me on the interstate.
Through the tunnel.
Through on 64. I drove from Hampton, Virginia.
Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel.
The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. I drove through the tunnel in rush hour traffic. I did great. I could drive.
Can we pause just a second?
Now, I could not.
I was somewhere else. I was in another state. That's why she was with them. And she talks to him, and this is what he did. So she says, "Mommy, go ahead."
So my mom gets back, and this is my first time.
I was on the phone. You told me while I was still on TDY.
Okay.
You told me that I said, "Hey, how was your day?" I went out driving. Oh, where did he take you?
We went through the tunnel. I came there and back.
I like to have. I'm telling you, if my heart had been bad, I would have had a whole heart attack. So I learned early. I started breathing. She said, "Are you there?" So I'm getting back like, okay, so now go back to the other story, because now she thinks she got it going on. She went through the tunnel and all this.
Right? I'm grown, and she doesn't trust me. So then we're driving to church. It's at night, and once again, I told you, when you drive down the parking lot, if there are no parks, you have to back up. She's probably been talking. She's probably been giving me watch your speed, break. So when I break, she was probably saying some stuff. And so we go to park.
I can't do it when you say this because I'm spit up.
We go to park, and I go, there's no parks down that row. So now I need to back up. So I put it in reverse, and I'm backing up. Now I'm looking, but I don't like to turn around when you back up. Now that's something you're supposed to do. It feels weird. This was before backup cameras. Okay. So it feels weird. I can't turn around and back up at the same time. I can't do it. And so I'm looking in the rearview mirror. I'm backing up, and she's like, "Patrice, turn around." I put it in park. I look at her and I say, "You do it." And I got out the car. Woo! And the Lord is the only talk to me was like, "Patrice," because we're in the church parking lot, the church where my mom is an elder. Like she's everybody knows her. Everybody knows her. Everybody loves her. Were you an elder, minister?
Minister.
Okay, she was a minister at the time.
I was a minister then. I became an elder later.
So then so I get back in the car. I continue to back up. I do not turn around because, like I said, I don't like to. It feels weird. I don't look back when I back up.
Okay, so let me say my part. So she said it was almost like she cursed at me, but she really didn't curse at me, right? She didn't curse, but I heard it like that, right? She said, "You do it." And like she literally put the car in drive, got out the car, and I'm in the passenger seat. So I saw my life escape me. I saw my life leave me because I thought, I said, take her out. I said, just take her out. Take her out. Take her out. So anyway, so I can't move. I could not move any part of my body.
If she got out of the car, we might have fought in the parking lot. I was ready. I was ready. Whatever she had, I was like, forget it. But there was a part of it that was because so my mom would take 6. So she had been gone for 6 months. So this trip, so me staying with the friend, it had been like 6 months. And my mom didn't know that my best friend and her parents were extremely toxic. And they are so I didn't sleep well because so the bedroom I was sleeping in, they would argue because they would leave the house to argue, but they're arguing so loud, I could hear them from the room I was sleeping in.
And I didn't know that.
I never told my mom that. There was a part of me, so like, because she was a single parent, when she left, I had to stay somewhere else. So, and it was normally my best friend's family. That was normally who I stayed with. And they were, I'm pretty sure the mom, I don't know if she watches my channel. So there was some dynamics in that.
You can clean it up. Okay.
There were dynamics in that house. So she didn't know. So that's when we talk about behavior speaks, because I would, if my mom had beat me down that day, now it would have been wrong, but like I would have understood why I did, but I was hurting and I didn't communicate it well. And I didn't like to be told what to do, but that's a whole other question. So I can't teach my son how to drive. My husband's gonna have to teach him how to drive because he's extremely patient. Me and my son, like, we'll just be like, because neither one of us like to be told what to do. And so I can't teach him how to drive.
Me. Okay. So Frozen. I'm Frozen. You know the movie's Frozen? Frozen. I was in ice.
Okay, my bad. So, say let it go. You were gonna say let it go. You were frozen.
I couldn't say let it go because if I said let it go, I could have said other words. So that wouldn't have worked. So I just got back from 6 months. So y'all know that I wasn't going to play. They were paying me. So it was really hard. And so both of us are in this situation, and neither one of us had communicated.
Yeah.
Y'all hear me? Neither one of us had communicated the disconnects and the dealing with it. And I feel bad as a parent. I felt bad because here I have to leave my child somewhere with someone else, and so there's a guilt. There's that issue. I mean, I'm bringing in amazing, whatever, but there's a guilt side of it, right? And so at that time I was working with billions of dollars, but I was, anyway, and I was second in charge. So the issue was both of us were having our own world, and I was not respecting what she had went through, and we just hadn't kind of, so I froze, but the angel of the Lord let her get back in the car and back up, and then because I'm still not speaking, I can't. I mean, literally frozen.
You just both walked in. Neither one of us talked to each other.
We both walked in, and I didn't lay down on the carpet, but I should have went right to the altar. I did not, because as soon as I walked in the door, because of my position, because of what I did, people immediately, so it distracted me. And so the deal with it is take a moment, because when something happens in our lives, we have to be careful not to let our amygdala, is that what's called? Mm-hmm. Respond, because that's a fight, flight, fight. And I'm a fighter. So I have issues, y'all. I have issues. I love people right now. But anyway, but you don't want to do something harmful in a moment. Remember, we talked about these cases. in a moment that's going to literally destroy the rest of your life?
So normally on a normal day, I knew how to talk to my mom. So if I got an F on a test, I would talk to the teacher and figure out what the extra credit was. If I checked my grade and I saw it was a D, it was a whatever the grade was, I would, because this was before apps where parents could check grades on their own all the time. Midterms was normally when you were finding. So when I saw my midterm, if it was off, I would talk to the teacher, figure out what to do. And so I would put the good grades on top, the A's and B's on top. And then if there were C's or D's, those were the plans. So it'll be like, hey, mama, here are these. You're like, all right, good. And then, all right, so before you look at it, let me just tell you. So that's what I'm not a lawyer, but I've watched a lot of lawyers on TV. And so I would come with a plan. It's like, okay, so this grade, it's below what you expect. And it's below what either one of us are comfortable with. And I already talked to the teacher. When I'm going to do this and this, I got the extra credit. I'm not going to watch TV. So when I put myself on timeout, so she normally wouldn't punish me more if I would like figure out, okay, so I'm not going to watch TV. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. This is what it is. So my mom never tried to like control. So she never told me what classes to take for school. So I always did my classes with a teacher. Her only rule for college. So my mom paid for my undergrad degree. I paid for grad school. And for undergrad, she only pays for grades one time. So I never failed a single class in college. She didn't even check, because for college you have to give parents permission to check grades, but like she knows 4 years. Like you got fall and spring, 4 years. That's all I'm paying for. And I graduated that spring of my 4th year. I had friends that changed their major. I knew if I had decided midway to change my major and it would add a year, she was not going to pay for that. So there were some conversations that we never tried to have. Now we do negotiations. We do negotiations. And now, so when I owe my child money, I try to give it to him physically, because he's a lot like me. So I wasn't good at keeping track of money in my head. I was kind of like Kouri. I always thought I had more money than I actually had. So like if she gave me $200 for school clothes, I would spend $250, sometimes $300. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just being honest. But I'd be like, no, but she'd be like, I'm like, like this is what I spent. But I was wrong. I wasn't lying, but that's how I remembered it. My memory was I only spent $150.
Okay, so let's talk about manipulation and information. So I'm not gonna let her get away with that.
Way.
So this is the deal. Patrice used to manipulate me, right? So let's just be honest about it.
You opened the door to manipulation.
I did. I opened it and I learned how to shut it too. So this is what I used to do. So what she did was, because we love our children, right? So anyway, we would go $200 school shopping, or we'd come back to the States and I said, hey, we're going to have a ball. And then this is how much you can spend. So Patrice likes it when I do my credit card, because I pay it off every month, but I don't keep up with it that way, right? So she this was Patrice. She put all this stuff in the basket, and then she started trying to. I said, "Oh, look at this! I thought you look so cute. Put that in there too. And oh, it's so cute. Put that in there. $400. I said, okay."
So now we have a choice. You can either purchase all of that, because we can both do math, or you can tell me I have to put some stuff back. And sometimes I would have to put a few things back, or we wouldn't go to the next store or something.
Okay, so then we ran into this place where I was, being forgot, and I started giving you cash. She said, okay.
That was much better.
So gave her cash. So she ended up with, she said, this is all I can buy.
I used to be bougie. I used to not sell.
Go ahead. Tell that part.
I used to avoid the sale rack. That's true.
I go to the sale rack and buy her all the stuff, right? And then she said, and she had like, I want to say 3 outfits or something crazy. She said, this is all I'm going to buy new. I said, that's your money. That's all you got. And then she looked at me with these big old sad eyes. Patrice is really cute. These little puppy dog eyes. She said, that's all. I said, this is your choice. This is how much money you have. And then this is what she said. This is a training moment, y'all. She said, how do you shop? And you can get all this other stuff. And I shop and this is all I get. I said, because I showed her how to shop like me.
Yeah.
And so I still didn't give her more money.
Hmm.
I want to stress this. I didn't give her more money.
But that's okay. My recollection.
Whatever. Anyway.
Sale thing. And I think I still did spend, it was only supposed to be 200. I'm pretty sure I got 3. Because you were really proud of my sale. I found
that's the other thing. We have to be careful with our children, because then we get proud and then we give them flexibility. Anyway, but she bought all the stuff, right? But she learned something. So it's not about, and some people would say this, but she's worth paying full price. But if you don't have to pay full price, why would you? Because we like I have very expensive taste, and I pass that obviously on to her too. However, I'm very frugal, and I have quite a bit of clothes. I like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
How many closets are you using right now?
Right now, I'm down to
3, 4.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I emptied out all the stuff in the front closet. The side closet only has my coats to go outside. So it's only like 4 or 5, only 4 or 5 coats. The closet in the basement, and then my closet in my bedroom. That's the only 2 I have.
Okay, so the closet in the basement, just so the world, it's a room that was converted into a closet. Okay,
it probably is 21 by 21.
It's a room. Okay, all right, I love it. And I love it. So when she does give away clothes, I get first.
I do give away a bunch of stuff.
So normally, the silver heart earrings, so the silver geometric earrings that you all like, that's from Mama's closet. I was gonna go put them on, and I forgot. But yes, normally when I'm wearing something nice, it's normally from Mama's closet. She tries to give me things, and I actually like to shop in her closet. So sometimes I'll say, keep this in your closet for me. Like I'll literally, I need a section that's a Patrice's section in your closet, because that's how
her brain works. Well, her brain works like her son's brain works. It all belongs to me anyway. Right? So, but my point for saying that is think of moments where we can teach our children, and we can learn ourselves how to grow. I mean, Patrice literally, remember the lion, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Anything she wanted to do within reason, legal, moral, and ethical. Those were my requirements, legal, moral, and ethical. I let her do. But this is the requirement. When she wanted to take things or do stuff, I said, okay, you know the deal. She said, yeah, if I sign up and you buy the outfit, it's over. I said, yeah, you gonna have to finish it. I want to see the results of my money. And so she would get in the middle of something. And she said, well, I don't want to do it anymore. And I just look at her. She said, I know. I said, when is the season over? And she tell me, and I said, well, guess what?
So at some point, did you have the conversation with me that baseball or softball probably wasn't my sport? So I won best sportsmanship every single year for softball, because I was doing cartwheels out in the outfield. I did not care. The game, I did not care if we won. I did not care if we lost. We got snacks.
That's all she cared about.
I wanted snacks, and I got to hang out in the sun with my friends for a little bit. I like chatting. Hey, bada, swing. Like I liked being in. I didn't like going up to bat. I didn't like any. So she eventually signed me up for gymnastics.
Okay, so that's a good
encourage me to because I was softball was not my.
No, that was not her thing. But this is the deal. She was so muscular. Patrice's body build is so muscular. She did gymnastics. Do not stop at her house.
I do shop at
Mama's house. You shop at her house? Yes, she shops at my house.
Furniture, everything.
So anyway, and it all belongs to her. I don't have a problem with it. So this is the deal. When she went to gymnastics, they loved her. And so they came out, and this is just a training moment, y'all. They came out and they said, she could do Olympics. They said, because she's a natural. She, number one, no fear. And she would just bounce and do all kinds of crazy.
It got to a flip without the back tuck. I kept getting stuck in my head with the back. So I could do but hands on the ground. But then you start wanting like my head might hit the ground. So I wouldn't do a back tuck. I never did a back tuck. I could do back handsprings all day. I could do stuff on the beam. I wouldn't want to flip with no hands on the beam. Like that was so mostly no fear until start getting closer to stuff that I'm like,
Great part.
I didn't really want to. I got stuck with those. But yeah.
So what they told me, they said we can get her a private coach, and they had coaches that had been done in Olympians and all that stuff. She has the right body build because she was all muscle, no fat. Anyway, all of the stuff. But I went to Patrice. Listen to me. I went to Patrice and I said, "Do you want to do da 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 da?" She said, "No." She said, "I don't want to do this for because there was a huge investment, and so I don't do investments without getting. I want her to buy into the issue, because once you do it, it's done. You're going to finish it." So she said, "Nope." She said, "I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun." So I went back to the people and went and said, "She's not interested." And they said, "Well, ma'am, that's not the way this works." I said, "Pardon me?" I did Scooby-Doo.
Well, I was probably 6 or 7 or 8. Yeah. I was probably young, and they were thinking you just make her do it. Like they were probably
that was their point. Yeah. But this is why I'm saying that. Do not.
Have you met her?
Have you? Number one, I said, I got to go live with this chick. Number one. Number two is, our rule is, when you have chosen something, you're going to do it to the end. But now I'm choosing for her. And I think when we do that as parents, and I'm not talking about everything with this, so this is not something you smear on everything, but some things you look at them and you say, "Are you going to do it? Do you want to do it?" And they say, "No." I don't care how good their potential is. Yeah. I went in and said, "She ain't doing it." And they said, but really, she don't want to do it. And they said, "However, ma'am, basically just, get her to, just make her do it." And I said, "That's not the way I roll. That's not the way I roll." So, and so respecting your children, but not giving them, what am I looking
So like, our child eventually, so right now he doesn't do a ton of extracurriculars, but at some point it's going to be like, "Hey, you can do, here are a list of extracurriculars. You got to pick one. You got to pick something from the list. You need social interaction." Right. And so that's something, because there's some things where it's like, oh, it's good to be a part of a team. It's good to do this or that. And then figuring out the thing that kind of works out best for your kid.
So giving them back to what we're saying exposure. Expose them to something that causes them to do, be, and have something different, versus expose them and cause them pain. So anyway, so I'm with you. What do you want me to do?
We could do this all day, and I will bring Mama back in June. So stay tuned to which week Mama comes back in June. Make sure to check out the old podcast episodes. If you click on the podcast on my channel, Legacy Moments is the name of it. They are older episodes. There are some newer ones up there. We stopped doing the regular podcast because I switched to more of the covering crimes. Mama, because she loves me, she's been watching the crime stuff and kind of falling into that too. And so we are talking about that. But what are your final thoughts?
Okay, so I want to invite you to, I think it's Thursday night, I'm going to go deeper into the financial part of Kouri Richens and 3 other cases on the financial. You can be notified on my channel. Patrice is helping me shift. And that's the other thing. When we respect our children and people that we're in relationship with, they typically cause us and expose us to things that cause us to grow. And so one day she contacted me, and she I won't say she rebuked me, but I'll say she encouraged me to do something different with my channel, because she said, "You're everywhere." And I thought, but it's all in my head. And so anyway, we changed it. So so there's that out there. And then this past week, I think there's 4 of them out there that talks about patterns and things like that about mothers. And then this coming week, I'm going to go more into the money side of our mindset and how it works, and the cases, because I think it's really important that we take, this is one of the things I love about Patrice's channel, to be honest with you and all of you, is she just doesn't give information. She gives you revelation. She gives you revelation about what's going on and how we can do better because of it. And so my desire, as I do identity first and move out further on that, is to look at how our identities impact some of the decisions we're making, And I'm not going to stick in the court places. That's her brilliance, right? I'm not trying to follow her. I will use some of them because I enjoy some of them, like I did with Kouri Richards. I loved the fact of the forensic accountant. I mean, she just gave me happy thoughts. I mean, I could have did wine and popcorn with her. I just loved her, right? So that's how I got addicted to it. So the deal is that when you look at something, regardless of what it is, especially with us, my intent is that you come out better, that you learn something in the time that you spend with me, that you become a better person, a better steward, a better manager of your life or your money. In life first, because we don't get our lives back, and how we show up. So that is what I have. And it's always a pleasure to be with y'all. I love the way y'all love her and y'all support her. And I am just in awe of her. And there are days I look at her and I said, yeah, I remember seeing her come out. So I know she's mine. I know she's mine. So, but I am so proud of her. It's a pleasure to be her mother. And with all my imperfections, that God blessed her to be her own person, and that I celebrate that in her, and I celebrate it in each one of you. For those who have issues with their mother and all that stuff, know this, that that you're worth it, you're smart, and you're enough. And just move forward in a really wonderful space, in a way that celebrates you and celebrates what's next in your life.
Thank you so much for that. To anybody that has, so I want to talk to some difficult populations, to some difficult people. Not difficult people, but difficult situations. So for some people, to anyone who has lost their mother, to anyone who has lost a child, to anybody that has struggled with infertility, wanting to be a mother and not, being able to be a birth mother, to adoptive mothers, to all the people out there. My heart is truly with you all. And if you get to just enjoy Sunday, so if you're not celebrating, if tomorrow is just a Sunday, I hope you enjoy your Sunday. I probably wouldn't go out because there's going to be a lot of mothers. If you go out, Mother's Day is going to be everywhere. We are going to be celebrating, and we have to figure out a time. But we will be watching Devil Wears Prada 2. We're going to do a movie together. My mom is one of my absolute best friends. She is my one and only mom, but no parent gets it perfect. And the grace I give her is the same grace that I hope my son gives me. No parent gets it right every single time. And but the goal is that when my child comes to me and says, hey, this hurt, I wish you didn't give up 3 hours on Saturday to stream on YouTube, I can be like, buddy, I hear you. I see you. That's valid. What can we do now? And so, and that if your child needs therapy, if your child needs an assessment, if your child needs support, because children's mental health is very important. I'm seeing kids coming younger and younger that are having legit thoughts of not wanting to be here, of not wanting to be in the world. And so not ignoring those things, getting people help and support when they need it. And me, even as a licensed psychologist, when my child struggles, I sometimes need to find him a psychologist. I need to find him a speech therapist. My child has done speech therapy. He recently had a psychological evaluation. He will do play therapy if that's what we figure out is best. He may end up with accommodations at school. And it doesn't reflect, because sometimes people take it personal and they feel like, like, what did I do? It's like, no, like it's just like there are patterns that we have to break, and sometimes we have to dig a little deeper. And so I hope you all have a great day. We will see you all next time. If you didn't catch my video going over the Should I Marry a Murderer? series from Netflix. I did a video right before this covering that docuseries. Be sure to check that out. I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.